Hello, everybody. Welcome to ROWAPALOOZA. It's our Ready Row USA. It's our third anniversary of broadcasting, live streaming, and audio podcast, and our 100th episode. So this right now is our 100th episode, and I just don't know where the time went, but we've had some fascinating conversations, including with some of the folks who you will meet today on our ROWAPALOOZA. And we also wanted to mention that we have a new website. So readyrowusa.com is the website, and all of our archives will be up there. And you can contact us through the website. The show notes are always updated there, and you can interact with us. We love to have people chiming in on our live streams and afterwards. So chime in on any of our social media platforms. And just, like I said, nothing gives us a greater thrill than seeing that little notification dot on Instagram or Twitter. And our audience gets personal attention to questions, comments, episode suggestions, and our sponsors and partners we receive a value that far exceeds their investment. So I'll introduce you to a couple sponsors in a second, but please join us on a live stream. We're going to have about 4 or 5 of these in December to celebrate our 100th episode and third anniversary. So we would like to give some big shout out to our first distributor, Rebecca Caro of Rowing Chat. She and Marlene Royal produced the Faster Masters program, and we are very grateful for the launch in 2018. And now I would like to introduce our guests. Let me put them on the screen. They do exist. Hi. So let's see. You can unmute yourself. I think we're good to go. Ruth Marr will wave to you. Hi, Ruth.
Hi, Charlotte. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited. I just don't know where the time went. There's so much to say about rowing, I guess. But Amy Mehr, who's the race director of the Head of the Charles. Hi, Amy.
Hi, Charlotte. Thanks for having me back. And again, congratulations.
You're welcome. And we'll talk about a couple ways that you're involved in rowing, and not just the Head of the Charles, but you have a very great cause that you represent as well. And Matthew Lacey, who's the new executive director of the Rowing Industry Trade Association.
Hello, Charlotte, and hello, world. Yeah, happy to be here. Maybe share a little bit about RITA, but of course, huge congratulations, one, on being a RITA member, but of course, 3 years and 100 episodes is a huge achievement. So happy to be a part of the panel, the group today.
Oh, it's great to have you. And I've heard great things about what you're doing at RITA. So, I mean, from sincere, authentic reports. So, but I would like to, you can tell your version, the version of the story. Anyway, I'd like to give a shout out to our new sponsors, Sykes Rowing. I actually bought one of their boats, and I fancy that I got some free speed out of it, but it's one of their 135 flyweight racing shells. And they are also they're actually already a member of our Ready Row USA Hall of Fame, along with NKSports and Row Source. And we have a little bit of an echo from somebody around here, but I don't know. Maybe mute yourself for a second and then we'll see. So Sykes is great. Fabio Selvig will be, if you buy a boat, it's like you get a partner. So I love them. I love the company. And he also represents Resolute or is the head of Resolute Racing. We've also teamed up with Burnham Boat Slings, as most of you know it. Great shell covers and all sorts of accessories for rowing shells and all the other equipment that you have associated with rowing. So thank you, Peter Carmond, Linda Murray, and Fabio Selvig for helping us get pay our internet bills, I guess you would say. So why don't I let you guys, Amy, Ruth, and Matthew, why don't you go around and just say a little bit about how you got involved with your company or your project, and 5 minutes or so. And Ruth, you want to get started? Ruth, you may be muted. You are muted.
There we are. Sorry, I'll start that again with a thank you for having me. Very
You're
happy
welcome.
to be here. So my company is called Rowing the World, and we are a boutique tour operator, adventure travel tour operator, specializing in rowing trips in many different parts of the world, particularly in Europe and in Canada. But we also always have some exotic destinations. So, for example, we've run some trips in the Maldives, in South Africa, in Australia, New Zealand. So we're very happy to be truly quite an international in our scope in both our destinations, but also our clients, our guests who join us. You asked how I had become involved in this company, and it's by a long way. I have been in the adventure travel industry for well over 25, 30 years. I had a previous company called Randonnée, or Randonnée in French. It was a cycling and walking tour company, and we specialized particularly in Europe, but also in Canada. And I had that particular company for 15 years, and ultimately decided it was time to get out of it and make a change. Near the end of owning that company, I had actually been experimenting and playing around a bit with self-guided rowing trips to extend the cycling and the walking that we were already offering. So when the company was sold, that portion stayed with me. And I got I needed a break. I went back and did consulting work and took some time off and kind of did other things for a while. But it's very true that I think once you're in the adventure travel industry, kind of has your hooks in you, sort of like rowing does. I think you either, if you love it, you can't stop it, you can't leave it.
Yeah,
so after a while, I realized I kept kind of circling back to this idea of a rowing tour company. But it's hyper niche. It's, as you would all well understand. So I finally decided I needed to make a decision about whether I was actually going to do this finally or just have to stop thinking about it. So I took about 6 months, and I wanted to answer two key questions. The first was, would park clubs who own quite expensive equipment in different parts of the world, would they be willing to let me, some Canadian, coming in and bringing international people to use their equipment? The second question was, would anyone want to buy this? Because, it doesn't matter if you think it's a brilliant idea. What really matters is what people want to buy. So I did quite a bit of work on this and tested those questions. And at the end of the day, I decided that, yes, I think this is possible. And so in January of 2013, I launched Rowing the World. And we've been running trips in wonderful places ever since then. Obviously, the pandemic has put a little bit of a crimp in our style lately, as it has for many businesses. But it's it's wonderful. It's very much a partnership model, and I really love being able to take people to all these beautiful places in the world, enjoy the sport we love, and then also eat well, drink well, stay in great places, and so on.
Your photos are just amazing. I follow you on your blog. Your blog is amazing. This Thoughtful Rower, you've just launched that, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And the last one you put up was just about your, our connection to the water as rowers, and I was just blown away. It was really nice, so.
Well, thank you very much, Charlotte.
And I just want to ask you, did people just, like, when you took this break, and did people just stay on, or did they want refunds, or did they just come back? Because you then took 4 trips this year, right?
Yeah, actually 3. We ran 3 trips
Mhm.
this fall, which was terrifying and rewarding.
Yeah.
And it's wonderful to know that, yes, we can run trips safely in a pandemic. What happened, we have a tremendously loyal clientele, which I'm very grateful to. And we do have a very high number of repeat guests, which I think also indicates that. So when the pandemic came, like many people, we really didn't know what's going to happen. How long is it going to last? So initially, we began to have to make decisions about canceling trips, deciding what we're going to do. Generally, as people in business, one of the first priorities is you really do have to manage your cash flow. And so we were in a situation where not only had our revenue, stopped dead, and without a clear sense of when they were going to continue, restart. Also, we had ongoing expenses with staff, marketing initiatives, and a few other things that were going on. And so we basically asked our guests, said we would asked our guests if they would be willing to leave their deposits with us.
Ruth, I think we're having a little bit of trouble. Ruth, we're having a little trouble with your audio.
Okay, what would you like me to do? Mute and unmute?
No, I think you're okay. I mean, it's just, it drops in and out. Matt and Amy, did you hear that? Or
I thought maybe once, but otherwise I think I've got everything.
All right, so go ahead. Yeah, so people, you have a loyal fan base, and they just kind of waited for the trips to activate again.
The vast majority left their deposits with us.
Wow.
We gave issued credit notes for everybody. They don't expire. We are, now that we're starting to run our trips, and hopefully in 2022, we'll be able to run more. We're able to do things like if people who booked with us for 2020 and left their deposit, they're paying the 2020 price if they travel in 2022 or 2023 with us. Even though costs have gone up, our prices are going up. We've had a few people request refunds, and so we have refunded them. But we've had a few people. We had one woman who unfortunately has a health issue, and actually, it's more than just this one person. We've had a few who have said, you know what, just keep my refund. It's yours. It's we like what you're doing. We know it's tough. It's a gift, and that's been amazing.
Awesome. Well, let's go around, and then we'll have some time to discuss afterwards. You can ask each other questions and stuff. Something might have come up, and we'll have any that come in from the audience too. So, so Matt, can you let's end this round with you, and Amy, why don't you tell us a little bit about assuming the mantle at the head of the Charles, and what your other work with fundraising for breast cancer recovery.
Sure. And so thank you for having me back. So thrilled to be here, and really thrilled to have had a very successful head of the Charles this fall. So obviously coming back bigger and better following the pandemic. So my role with Head of the Charles, and I've been involved with the Head of the Charles for almost 25 years now. I can't believe the time has gone by so fast. But I am essentially responsible as race director for overseeing all of the race committee and race operations team members that really, at the end of the day, make the Head of the Charles happen. So definitely the Head of the Charles, despite what some may think, is predominantly put on and supported by a huge volunteer base of well over 1,000 volunteers. And so I am responsible for making sure in my role that everything is executed successfully over race weekend. And even though this past year's regatta has already ended, I'm already busy planning for next year. I was on a call last night already with our umpire committee. So,
awesome.
So we're already planning for that. We were really obviously watching obviously everything going on with the pandemic, and really just very happy through the support that we had here locally in Boston from Mass General Hospital to have advisement on how we put on a safe regatta for all of our athletes and spectators and volunteers. And also this fall, add a third day of rowing on Friday, where we not only added rowing, but we actually streamed well over 150 singles. I think Charlotte was one of those folks going down the board.
I love that Friday thing. That Friday thing was great.
Yeah.
Did it add a lot of complication to your planning, or was it?
It's well, the regatta's always been, as everyone says, a 2-day regatta with Friday being the prep day. So with the addition of Friday, now we have Thursday, and for some committees, Wednesday is a prep day. So
right.
It does put a bit more of a lift on the volunteer base, but we learned a lot from this past fall. I don't think at this point we will probably see Friday go away. And as always, we'll continue to try to streamline things and continue to make things better.
I'd like to give a little shout out to Cindy Larson, who's an amazing wrangler for the is it the
River Control?
River Control, yeah.
Absolutely. Cindy's been a long-running volunteer. Her and the River Control team were thrilled to be in the new MIT Pierce Boathouse this past fall, which I finally got in there myself and was absolutely beautiful. But when I'm not involved with Head of the Charles, and actually I got involved with Head of the Charles 25 years ago, actually, as a community rowing member, which is actually where I learned to row. It was really through trying to put in some volunteer hours for community rowing that I just kind of landed at Head of the Charles doing registration. But when I'm not involved with Head of the Charles, I do row. I started as a sweeper at community rowing, but now fast forward to being full-time working and a mom of 2 boys. I now predominantly scull out here in Shrewsbury, Mass, on Lake Quinsigamond. And one of I would say really 2 things happened to me in my life over the last 5 years or so. Is in 2014, I was diagnosed with breast cancer, and actually following my treatment that summer, 12 weeks after my mastectomy and reconstruction and treatment, I actually rowed in the Head of the Charles, and have continued to be very active with the Making Strides for Breast Cancer walk in Boston, as well as Pull for a Cure, which is a fundraising effort for Making Strides that was started by some rowers at Brown, and have also remained involved with the American Cancer Society, and continue to just be, a vocal advocate for taking care of yourself and really talking about how rowing for me during a very difficult time in my life really helped me focus on a goal and really recovering. And then just a couple of years ago, which really made this past fall's Head of the Charles meaningful for me, I was actually diagnosed with a very serious brain tumor.
Yes.
And following an 18-hour surgery, I'm happy to say that I had a full recovery from that. And so at least for me, rowing in the Charles this past fall had a lot of meaning as well. So I've also started to get very involved in brain tumor awareness and treatment. And again, have told my story about rowing since, again, it's been a very big help for me in my recovery.
Well, the people that are involved with like Row for the Cure and Recover on Water and those organizations that, they emphasize how good it is, and how much it improves the health of people.
Yes. Yeah. Especially following my, when you have a brain tumor and surgery in your head at all, and they do anything with your inner ear, your balance goes totally out of whack. So, so it was definitely, I would say, a Herculean effort of vestibular therapist that honestly got me back in a boat, because you're not only, on a rowing machine, you're obviously sitting stationary on the floor, but obviously we're on the water. You have the water also moving you as well. So the recovery was definitely challenging, but I listened to what everyone told me and just continue to tell people that, if you set a goal and really work with the right resources, you know, rowing can be a very therapeutic and great way to recover.
Especially like the mental aspects of it, you know, and that, you know, what do you call it? Psychosomatic, or, you know, like one influences the other.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So great. Well, it's really nice that you can, I mean, it's incredible that you can leverage your, you know, your rowing and, you know, combine those two interests and pursuits. It's wonderful.
Yep. No, absolutely. So no, it's just happy to be back and rowing and doing what I love, and then, you know, continuing to try to help support other people who are in similar situations.
Good for you. Let's just have a little the elevator speech from Matthew about the Rowing Industry Trade Association, which is actually a fairly new organization as well, right, Matthew?
Yeah, it is. I think we're came around in 2019. I think a terrific idea whose time has come. I think there were some stewards in the sport. They saw the opportunity, I think, in the rowing community for some additional just leadership, and thought that these industry, you know, these partners, these folks involved in the rowing economy, I mean, they've dedicated their lives to the sport. You've got multiple generations of folks who've been involved in the rowing community, and they really wanted an opportunity to get together, collaborate, and speak with one voice. So they got Rita together as an organization, and then just got everything squared away, got their bylaws moving, got involved in a couple of projects and initiatives, and then finally made the leap towards a paid employee just about 6 months ago, which was me. I'd taken a break from over 20 years in nonprofit management and was just looking for something different. Timed it perfectly with COVID coming along.
Perfect.
And so took about a year off, and then I just got a phone call, and the idea was just super interesting to me, because I think, you know, when I say a leader in the rowing community, I mean, a chance to go out and then leverage the experience, voice, resources, everything that's there in the industry. I'm fully convinced that the sport needs to evolve. We need to do things differently. We need to take some new approaches. And, you know, I think getting a lot of that feedback and all those creative conversations and all the energy that I've seen come out of RITA members. I mean, like Ruth, I think, you know, below me, her story was awesome, right? I mean, she had this terrific idea basically on finding a new, you know, sort of point of engagement in the rowing world, made sure it worked. And then all of a sudden we see the rowing community grow, you know, coming across with experiences that keep people involved, right? If they have a terrific experience, they come back the next year and do something else. And so long and short, the organization came together to do three things. You asked for the elevator pitch, Charlotte. Here it comes.
It's a long elevator. It's like 25 floors.
Good. I'm pushing all the buttons as we go down to give myself.
You're one of those kids.
Yeah. But really what RITA does, it's got three things. And the first is creating a community of owners and entrepreneurs, and allowing them a chance to get together, collaborate, innovate, have conversations, and really share. I mean, honestly, a lot of these folks are in silos, right? Where you're head down in your own business, worrying about how you're going to make it through COVID. And we have these wonderful things called happy hours, where then everybody gets together. You know, you can crack a beverage or not, but it's a chance to go ahead and then get out of that silo and then start realizing there are a lot of other folks that have shared that very same experience and are more than happy to go to them and share how they navigated it.
Just a question, like how many of your members, like what percentage are like the big manufacturers and those big, you know, gorillas, or people like me and Ruth, you know, like we're just like, hello.
Indeed. So they're just about 10, what we call them, you know, I call them steward members. And there are these 10 of these members that have been around for a long time. And they've made an investment in RITA because they really want to see the organization exist as a tool. And we'll get into what it's going to be used for. But there are about 10 of those folks. And then we're coming up on just about 30 of the smaller organizations. So I mean, we're going everywhere from boat builders, of course, and then the largest indoor rowing machine producers. You can head to the RITA website, check out who they are. And we go from massive companies, all the way down to, you know, one person shop consultants. You know, so we really span every experience in the rowing economy. So if you're thinking about an app that helps you train and get faster on the C2, you know, that's going to be present in the same space as the guy who's inventing a better wrench over in Great Britain.
And do you have like a mentoring program? So like if I know I have a friend who's done a wonderful work on a STEM app for science, technology, and developed a whole curriculum and everything, and he's really looking for grants and investment and support on getting that out, because it's so cool what he's doing. Do you know Neil Bergenroth?
I think I've had conversations with him from a prior,
cool, very cool guy. I mean, he's just dedicated so much time to this, and I would really like to see him succeed, because he's getting rowing and fitness and science and the STEM subjects to an audience of kids who might not, it's just enhancing, giving access to a whole group of people who.
Indeed, and I think combining it with that educational aspect, that's the hottest trend.
So do you have a mentoring or is that just kind of accidental?
Well, so what we can say is, right now, Rita, maybe what I should do, I'll answer that question. So hold me to it. Let's get it on a note and we come back to it. Because then what we do as an association, the second thing is we allow members to collaborate on projects and initiatives that they see really creating a beneficial impact in the rowing environment. So we're talking about growth, we're talking about greater inclusivity, we're talking about more innovative approaches, people doing things differently than we have, and creating space for the sport and the economy to grow, right? And so people engaging in new businesses, that's creating, that's having an impact in the rowing economy. And what we just had our annual meeting at the Charles is that opportunity for people to come, from all over the globe and land in Boston.
Yeah, I'm sorry I couldn't come. I was like, it was my race was the next day, and I was a complete wreck.
Well, no worries. What was fun about being,
I talked to Michael Naughton at NK.
Yep, there's one of our stewards. Yeah.
He says you just knocked it out of the park. So I'm glad that was.
Well, and what I'm excited about is that we had a chance to sit down and then look at all the directions that our creativity at this moment in time would allow us to go, and it's too many. And so all of the members right now, actually, when I get off this call, I get to send out a voting document to all the members, and they can start choosing which of these projects that they want to undertake. And one of them is creating a mentoring program for women and BIPOC-owned businesses, so we can actually start leveraging some more ownership positions into the business community.
Yeah.
And so other than that, honestly, it's just what I can say. You could say it's accidental, but we've just got a super supportive community, and there are a lot of app developers and a lot of other folks in the technological space that would, of course, be happy to help.
Good to know.
And then the third thing, last thing, and then the elevator pitch, pushing all the buttons, is advocacy, right? We get the business community together, and we're able to just speak with one voice when we start talking to governing bodies, around the globe, in World Rowing, U.S. Rowing, Rowing Canada. It gives us that opportunity to go ahead and create an umbrella of protection, so no one company has to step out of line if they've got some criticisms, they'd like to see some policy changes. Now they can do that, speaking through just one protected voice with Rita. So there's a lot going on that front as well.
Well, bless you for taking that challenge on. That's great. I
get to work with some pretty amazing people. Yeah. Why
don't we open it up to Ruth and Amy, and we have I don't know, we can take a few more minutes. I'm not going to hold us to exactly 30. So I just like to. I have a few things to say at the end, and then if you guys want to ask Matthew or each other some questions about what you do.
Well, I'm just going to say. Charlotte, you didn't show up because you had a race the next day. My excuse for not being at the AGM is I was rowing in Turkey.
That's a good excuse.
And I remember a little while ago, I actually was briefly for a year or so on the board of RITA, and I couldn't make one board meeting. And Chip Davis said to me, and the reason I couldn't was because I was rowing in Martinique in that particular case. And he said, that's the best excuse for missing a board meeting.
Easily top 10 that I've ever heard. You're never going to get anybody. Well, come on.
Yeah. That's a good one.
But I am disappointed I missed it, because I really love what Rita is doing. And I think Matt, you're doing a terrific job of kind of, getting a focus and moving things forward. So I look forward to these, what's coming through, and the next happy hour. I think they are great to have that chance to just see each other a bit, chat about ideas, and so on.
Yeah. We got very lucky with 2 RETA members on the call. That was we don't have any regattas as members at this point, but I'll be giving you a call, Amy, in a little bit. We'll see.
Yeah, well, let me know, how we can get the word out about stuff that you do. I know we've talked about doing a kind of a regular thing. I'm happy to work with you on that.
This is a great vehicle. And I think, the more and more people that come into this, I mean, it's, we've got, that whole podcasting community has really come alive in the last year. So this is, this is just another, terrific vehicle to get the word out. So I'm just appreciative of what you're doing.
Well, it's fun. I wouldn't do it if it weren't fun, because I'm not exactly making millions per episode. So I'm aiming to increase that, but whatever.
Hey, let's double the size of the rowing community, and it's going to get more sustainable. I'll take a solid bet.
That's cool. Amy, any final thoughts about the head of the Charles, or?
No, I think just, like I said, we're already working on next year, and I have a board meeting tomorrow I'm preparing for with the board and managing directors. And I think just very, all the feedback we got through all the surveys we've done is just, everyone was just so appreciative that, the rowing community was able to get back together and do what they love, which is race. And it was just great to get everyone back together, and you made some.
And I love the graffiti on the bridge.
Yeah.
Reunited. I've taken a few pictures. Yeah.
Yeah.
Taken a few pictures of that. Well, thank you all. I mean, you can stay on and pipe up, but I'm just going to run through our last few notices. We have a hashtag that we use on social media, and I noticed that more people have been using it, so I'm really excited about that. We have people giving gadgets and gear and services, and so we periodically go around and find people who've been using the hashtag, which is ReadyRowUSA. It's really simple. So use that, and that helps us get the word out about what we're doing, and gives you a little incentive to maybe win something. So I know Mark Wilson was supposed to be here today, but he runs with Jim Dietz. He runs All American Rowing Camp, and he's giving a remote coaching session. So, don't pass that opportunity. So the hashtag and social media. We also want to hear from you about what's going on at your club. If you're starting a club or hiring somebody or looking to hire somebody, or, you had a, raccoon walk through your boathouse or something. We love just to have little nuggets and bits of news about rowing clubs. And I think we're going to be doing one. There's one starting up on the North Shore of Massachusetts in Lynn soon. So I can't remember exactly what they're calling it, but they're going to be on a club spotlight soon here. And gadgets and gear. When I finish up here, I want to ask each of you, the 3 of you, what your favorite rowing gadget is, or a tip, trick, or hack. We are also a media partner of the U.S. Rowing Convention. So that starts on Monday with a master's track in the evening, I believe, mostly. And we are a media partner. We're going to be live blogging and supporting that. It's a lot of great content, including a free component for diversity, equity, and inclusion. Okay, let's just get close it out here with your favorite gadget or gear or service or boat or whatever.
I'll go first because I have to take a knee and get out of this one. I mean, these are my people. These are, every gadget from a wrench to a service to a... So I can't show any favoritism. I love every single one that exists.
A bucket. You get a bucket of gadgets.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're all perfect. So I'll let the
well done, Mark. Well done. Amy?
I would say my favorite gadget is my neoprene butt pad, which you no longer can buy because I've been trying to find a replacement one. And if anyone can find a vendor that will make one again, mine is nearly falling apart, but it's Nothing has replaced it. And I have to put in a plug for a second one, which is the little tool, and I'm going to botch up the name, which allows you to push out your spacer when you're on the water and change it without
The
getting
little like 20-cent thing that.
Yes. It's a must. It's a must. So I
I
have
know it.
2 or 3 of them. So yes,
Yeah.
they're a must.
Ruth?
Well, there are so many wonderful things. Actually, what jumped to my mind is those little backpacks that was the strings on them.
Yes.
And I use that all the time when I'm on a tour, because often, you've got your water bottle and you got your seat pad and you got maybe a jacket and you got your phone and you got all these things. And you can't just keep putting, especially for me, I can't put them down and then go and get them. I just need it always on me in case I have to jump in the boat or help somebody or whatever. And then at my club, I do the same thing. I always walking around with a little backpack on instead of all my, all the.
Yeah.
That was my number, Ruth. That was my number 3. So I finally just replaced my bag that I'd had for 12 years at Head of the Charles this year because I washed it so many times the thing fell apart.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my number 3 for sure. I agree.
I agree. It's like I have a fanny pack. Then I put it around to the back when I'm rowing, and I actually forget. I don't think it has any effect on my rowing. It just sits there. I don't even remember it's there. But then I can have my phone and I can take my selfies at the BU bridge and stuff. So, but speaking of butt pads, this is written or handmade by a woman named Angelica Green, and she's got a company called Gel Pads.
Oh, okay.
And I sent her a message like, "Can you make me one?" Yeah. So I bought this, and I might get some more for special giveaways and stuff.
Oh yeah, I want to test it out. I'm very particular about my butt pads, so I'll give it a try.
I know a butt pad is a very particular thing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you all for being here and for being part of our celebration. I called it a ROWAPALOOZA because I just wanted to have something like an exciting name, but apparently I'm not the only one who's come up with that name. So if you see another ROWAPALOOZA, it's just a fun word, I think. So.
Well, congratulations, Charlotte, and thanks for having me.
You're welcome. You guys are the best. Thank you. Thanks, Ruth.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlotte.
Bye.
Thanks.
All right. Stay warm up there.
I will.